And we are live in today's episode. Talk about why do research and case studies of research. We're going to do research today and case studies of research. Okay, so let me just go through this. I'm currently in day 8. No, yep, no, I'm in day 8. No, I'm in day 9. Yeah, I'm in day 9 of my 100-day video challenge where I keep myself accountable to my daily tasks and challenges, express myself to improve my communication skills, and to document the things that I'm learning. Okay? Today, yesterday, I was doing some research for growth hacking. I'm trying to growth hacking to some of the courses I'm doing. I'm creating content for growth hacking, and as part of the elements of growth hacking, some of the key elements of growth hacking, key components of growth hacking is you have to have a high performing team. You have a strong growth hacking team. You need to have to do research. Second thing, and you have to do experiments, constant experiments. Now, yesterday, I started researching on how companies were achieving growth and how those companies are doing research. Um, and there's an interesting story from AIrBnB came up with that I encountered. So if you don't know AIrBnB, there's an interesting story about AIrBnB that there was a design conference. So this is about yeah, two designers, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, couldn't afford the rent in their San Francisco apartment. To make ends meet, they decided to turn their loft into a lodging space. But Gebbia explains, we didn't want to post on Craigslist because we felt it was too impersonal. Our entrepreneur instinct said build our own site. They're also designers. You know, there was a design conference coming to town and the hotel space was limited, so they set up a simple website with pictures of their loft, turning lodging space, complete with 3 air mattress on the floor and the promise of home cooked breakfast in the morning. They got This got them their first 3 renters, each paying $80 each, and thus began their venture into entrepreneurship. Now, it's called Air Bed and Breakfast. That's why it's Airbnb. You might already know about Airbnb, pretty popular. And there are some numbers here to show. What's interesting for me is how they started to grow, in particular, your unadulterated hustle, how they did their early growth. So they use Craigslist a lot. They used another platform to maximize what their impact, grow effectively. Okay, here's the story that I wanted to focus on. Start with the perfect experience and work backward. One way in okay, much of Airbnb's growth can be attributed to the fact that despite what venture capitalists thought, people wanted service people wanted the service Airbnb offered. One day, one way in this is apparent is their approach the photographs on listings. Is their approach on photographs on listings. So, what did they do? Airbnb was gaining traction in New York. So, Gebbia and Chesky flew out and booked spaces with 24 hosts to figure out what the problem was. As it turned out, users weren't doing a great job of presenting their listings. According to Gebbia, the photos were really bad. People were using camera phones and list quality pictures. Surprise! No one was booking because you couldn't see what you were paying for. Their solution was low tech but effective. According to Chesky, a web startup would say, let's send emails, teach users professional photography. And we said, screw that. Instead, they rented a $5,000 camera and went door to door, taking professional pictures of as many New York listings as possible. This approach led to 2 or 3 times as many bookings on New York listings by the end of the month. Airbnb's revenue in the city had doubled. What was stunting growth in New York was also stunting growth in Paris, London, Vancouver, and Miami. This led to the AIrBnB photography program, which was officially launched in the summer of 2010. Hosts could officially schedule a professional photographer to come and photograph theirs. Yes, this is the story that I wanted to focus. So even the founders themselves, they did research. This is the importance of when you are growth. Nice story to remember. That's the first story. Now let's take a look at. Meanwhile, let's look at Shopify. How did Shopify do growth? How Shopify turned free music into 10 billion valuation. Hmm? Let's see. So they had existing growth levers: best of breed product, premium business model, massive US launch, driven by the buzz of their European growth, exclusive deal with Facebook. Oh, so they had an exclusive deal with Facebook to the default music service. And they also got controversy between artists and the company over royalty payment. And the future growth levers were continued international expansion, mobile growth, trade distribution, partnership, participation, winning over artists as suppliers to the Spotify ecosystem. Okay, so the founders are Martin Lorentzon and Daniel Ek. They met in Sweden in 2005. Okay, so let's take a look. Wow, look at that. Trying to find out how they grew, or they were different from other music services. The other music services they had to purchase. For them, they just you just needed to subscribe and you would have access to all. Okay, is there an interesting story here? I like looking at stories, trying to find out some interesting stories. Mm-hmm. And that's their story. They did the premium business model and royalty. Mm-hmm. They did an invitation only free account. Interesting. And they worked with controversy to create buzz. What is F8? Okay, F8 developer conference. Wow, they spiked. Facebook F8 developer conference, at which Spotify CEO Daniel Ek was the speaker. The social network announced partnership. It's kind of it was today users can register for the service via an email address through Facebook Connect. And once registered, users can see their friends' activity, including what they were listening to, leveraging on social. All right. Each playlist has a unique URL that you can easily share. Is there an interesting story? There are lots of interesting stories and controversy. Find out how they do it. We know Airbnb did their research. So here's the question: Is there is a research conducted by Edison Research Statistics? Okay? Hmm, wanted to find out how they did it. It's an interesting story. Like there's not a lot of info on how Spotify did their research or growth. Looks like oh, they have Spotify R&D. Interesting. Ah, they have machine learning. Interesting. Personalization. This is interesting. Global's music streaming service. Research and development costs. Look at that. That's an interesting number. That is take a screenshot. This is nice. This is a nice example of how much when you do research you can do. You have to find out how the examples of Spotify does insights for speed. See, this is interesting. And this was only last year, 2019. What's slowing down user research? Nice case study. For many years, insights was a peripheral to product development because of perception that user research had low validity. Ah, okay. Stop treating research as align research with agile. Ooh, nice. Cross-disciplinary insight teams. Ah, perfect. Microsoft. Sarah Belt. Who is Sarah Belt? See, this is me doing research on research. Sarah Belt. Building. This was a talk. Director of User Research Insights at Spotify. Oh, that he's been there for 5 years. He was sharing how they do research. That's amazing. This is Microsoft. Oh, that's amazing. This is great evidence why. In any case, let me just. I will park all this. There's one other company, which is Best Buy. There is a Consumer Research Associates.com study on Best Buy, which is I'm looking at Best Buy because I personally know the director of research there. Hi Jen. The discovery phase. So they wanted to explore the validity of expanding its selection to include health and fitness department stores. They were interested in how well customers would accept this brand expansion. Okay, so what they did was identify the triggers for investing in home fitness equipment. So what were the triggers for investing in home fitness equipment? They also collected stories about stores the participants liked. So they recruited participants for in-home interviews and as part of the consumer engagement, conducted shop-alongs to the Best Buy prototype part. Fitness departments and an additional research retailer area. The results. Feedback we collected and provided guided Best Buy in affirming the concept in store health and fitness departments. Health and fitness sections were added to stores across the country. Consumer expectations about the integration of consumer electronics with fitness as well as feedback. Do they have more? Is this public? Best Buy. Maybe I can buy research fitness. Virtual fitness. And now they're pivoting to virtual fitness. Mhm. Ah, that's it. They did their health and yes. This is new. This research was when was this? The video is